Hi friends, Maria and John Hoffman here at Tampa Home Group at Keller Williams Realty New Tampa, here to chat with you about all things real estate again here in the month of June 2025. Hey John.
Hey Maria, how are you?
I am doing great. Can't believe we're in June already though.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait because once I get to the end of June, then I go, gosh, only 5 months till Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and I just love the fall season.
I know, it's your favorite time of year. So.
But we have to talk a little bit about real estate, is that we're getting out of our spring market. And it wasn't as busy as we normally see spring markets, was it?
No, that is true. The number of sales was down from last year. That was true.
And you know what was up? The number of homes that came off the market, resale, that were either withdrawn, canceled, or expired.
Yes, we saw a lot of that.
Would it surprise you that just in Wesley Chapel, there was over 350 single-family homes that pulled off the market because they couldn't sell?
No, that would not surprise me because I look at them every single morning. I'm looking at them. So,
it's really frustrating for sellers because we talk to them every day is that they don't know why. But it is frustrating. And I'm starting to notice that trend is that it's starting to slow down a little bit. I think that people are going into June and July where the inventory tends not to, build up much. And so things are kind of equaling out. And to be honest, is that we're sitting anywhere between 3.8 and 4.5% months of inventory. Now, this is just residential resale, which is either considered a slightly seller's market or neutral market. So, that being said, there are sales that are happening. People are moving. People are coming in. People are coming out. The interest rates go up and down a little bit. This is just real estate today. Now, Maria, let me ask you a question. What's popular today in the eyes of buyers? What are you seeing that buyers want that they're going to jump on when they see?
Oh boy, buyers want move-in ready. They want great condition. They really do. Buyers are very appreciative of updates or things that have been done, fresh paint, nice landscaping. I'd just say great condition.
Well, and it's interesting. It's because if people are going to go on the market and they want to know what their house should look like, I'm telling people, go to a couple builder models.
Yeah.
Look at those and see how those are staged and how clean they are and how decluttered they are, right?
Yes.
And if your house isn't updated, then the list price needs to be reflective of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But even then, buyers are hesitant if they don't have the money to update the home.
Yeah, well, and they can go over to new construction in a lot of cases, take advantage of some of the specials and the rate buy downs, and in some cases get a lower monthly payment on a higher priced home because of those promotions. And so that's what sellers need to be aware of when they're selling a resale home.
Well,
be aware of the competition.
I just did an analysis in Murata for a home that was purchased a little over 2 years ago. And they purchased it at $425,000 with $17,000 of builder incentives.
Okay.
That same home just sold for $409,000 with $21,000 of incentives.
So a little bit less with more incentives.
Well, so when these people try to sell the house at what they paid for it at $425,000 without offering $25,000 or $20,000 of incentives, they had no chance of selling.
Yeah.
Right? And so while, new construction is definitely an option, I think it's hindering a lot of resales.
That's a fair statement. Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
is part of the reason why over 350 homes resale in Wesley Chapel came off the market, failed to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good news is homes are selling. I mean, we had a lot of people get their homes sold in this first half of the year, and we know how to help people break through and get their home sold. It's just that, again, condition is really, really important, and pricing is really, really important.
Now, on another note, change the subject, what starts in the next 2 weeks? hurricane season.
That's right. It started on the 1st.
Started on the 1st. And so we want everyone to take that into consideration on getting their generator serviced. If they've got a portable, make sure you've got enough gas, make sure the oil's changed.
Yeah.
Also, everybody should, and be able to date it, do a video of everything in the house.
Yes.
Everything in the garage.
Yes.
All around the exterior of your house, the pool cage, everything else. So you've got documentation of what the house looks like. And you might want to do the exact same thing right before a hurricane. If they think it's going to be coming near Tampa, do it again if you've got the time, because that's going to make your insurance claims go a heck of a lot faster.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. And even the contents of your home, even your closets and things like that, not so much even for hurricanes, but if you were to have any kind of a damage in your home, whether it's flooding or fire or anything like that, that's just always a great idea to have that, that documented.
And get your generator service now, because last year I kind of waited and we had to wait for parts to come in and it got a little hairy.
So you're taking the blame for that.
Well, I'm going to take my own advice, because
that was fun.
I just think it's the right thing to do. And if we have another hurricane, I'll do another pro tip series that I sent to friends, which got a lot of laughs.
Yeah, get your generator service, definitely. And this is the time of year, if you haven't done it already, don't wait any longer, so.
Well, and you know what? And the interest rates are still hovering in the high 6s, right? And so we are pretty confident with the demand for real estate that once they drop, the market will get a little bit more active again. Yeah,
there are so many people on the sidelines. I really think we are going to see such a pent-up demand when we see any movement with the interest rates. I think we're going to see that.
Well, another thing that I'm seeing, and it's really started this year, and it's people that purchased a year ago or 2 years ago, and if they're near new construction or they might have overpaid a little bit. If you're only putting 3.5% down or 5% down, or you're going BA with 100% down, I talked to a client today, and I talked to one last week that they wanted to sell, but they were going to have to bring about $20,000 to closing, and they only had about $5,000. And so the risk that people are taking is that if you're going to finance closing costs, or you're doing 100% finance, or you're putting a little bit down, you might be upside down if you're going to have to move in the next 18, 24 months.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think every buyer needs to take that into consideration before they purchase.
Yeah, and that's always been the case, unless we're in a, just that crazy COVID market that went up so much within a couple of years. Really, that was the exception. I mean, buying a home is more of a long-term investment. It really is.
Yes, and I know, but it's the American dream, and everyone wants to buy a house. But I just want to warn everybody that if you think there's a chance you might have to move in 12 to 18 months, you know what? Just take that into consideration before you buy. But the one thing that we do, especially with the resales, we guide people as for what the house is worth.
Yeah.
And if they're going to buy a house, if you're going to buy a house and you want to do some updating and painting and carpet and redo flooring and maybe countertops, you can create some sweat equity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we just want to make sure that the buyers have a full understanding on what their options are and what their challenges might be before they buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, you're so good that way.
And the other thing is that I've noticed that quite a few buyers don't understand the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification letter.
What is the difference, John?
Well, if you have a pre-qual letter, usually what the lender has done is pulled your credit and taken your word on your income and your debt, and some of your debt will be reported, but not all of it.
Okay.
A pre-qualification is a much better deep dive.
You mean a pre-approval?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the pre-approval is a better deep dive. If you're self-employed, they're going to look at least 2 years of tax returns, right? They're going to do verification of employment and income. The pre-approval is that you should be ready to go. The pre-qual is, well, based on what you told me and your credit, you might be good.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller, you really want to have a strong pre-approval letter. But if you're a buyer, You want a great pre-approval letter that in the letter says everything that that lender has done to pre-approve you.
Yes.
Because that's just going to lead to a better sales price, I think, for a buyer, and the seller will feel more confident negotiating with you.
It gives the buyers so much more leverage when they have that great, strong pre-approval letter. And John, it's happened, over and over. This will happen. A buyer, when they put it off, all of a sudden some great home comes up on a Sunday and someone else is trying to buy it, right? And then they're in a rush to get that letter. So it's just so much better to do it far in advance when you don't have any pressure, when you have lots of time to do it. That's the time to do it. So for the buyers that are out there on the fence and they're waiting, get the pre-approval done now.
Oh, no, no, absolutely.
Well, it's stress-free.
And they're normally good for 90 days. I've got a question for you. This is a real-life situation. You're selling your house for $600,000.
Okay.
And an offer comes in at $600,000 and the pre-approval letter is for $600,000.
Okay.
Or you get another offer at $600,000 and the pre-approval letter is for $700,000.
Yeah.
Which one in your mind is a stronger buyer?
Oh, I feel better about the 700.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Which is why it's always fascinated me where we get these offers on our listings where the pre-approval letter matches their offer price.
Yeah.
Write the pre-approval letter for more than the offer price so the seller feels confident that you're qualified. That doesn't mean you have to pay more.
Yeah, it's kind of an old school way of thinking where lenders would write it, oh, how much is the offer going to be? Okay, I'll match the letter and we'll write a new one every time. But I'd say do it once, get it for the most that you can afford, and you're coming in really strong.
So if I have, let me turn it around. If I have a pre-approval letter for $800,000 and the offer is $600,000, I'm thinking, man, this buyer is disciplined. They've got to have great credit because they live within their means. I'm not going to think that they're going to pay more for my house just because they could qualify for a bigger loan. I actually think that's a stronger buyer, and that's who I want to go under contract with. But it's fascinating to me how often buyers, in my opinion, make that mistake to have the pre-approval letter match the offer price.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it interesting that these little things that, in actuality, I think their realtor should really inform them?
Well, it's surprising to me, on another note, how many offers come in without pre-approval letters. It's fascinating, and which just leads to a delay in the process. So,
well, we need the pre-approval letter. We call the lender. We vet the lender. What did you do to provide these? We want to make sure that they don't have a house to sell. If they do, is it under contract? Is the inspection over? Is the appraisal been done? And does that buyer of that house have to sell their house? So there's a deep dive that's got to be done before we even call sellers.
John, I've got another thing that's come up a number of times now. I want to just bring this up for our friends. It's pretty common if you have a need to move. Let's say you need to maybe downsize, or maybe you need another one more room, and so you go out and you start looking at new construction, and you start shopping for a home, even though you need to sell your home. Okay, and I see people get themselves into predicaments when they go shopping, right, and fall in love with something before they've actually met with an agent, a good agent, about what their current home is worth. Okay, they want to make sure. You always want to make sure, if you have to sell your home in order to buy the next one, talk with a professional agent about what your current home is actually worth. Don't just go by Zillow or what it appraised for 2 years ago. Because what we're finding is that people are making big decisions on maybe moving forward with a new construction project. And if the value of your existing home has changed or it's not worth what you think, you can create a very stressful situation. So
let me give you an analogy that popped into my head. If you were going to go car shopping, Maria, and you went to the Lexus dealership and you were wanting to start shopping and picking out a car, would you commit to buying a car without knowing what the sticker price is?
Well, no, of course not.
Well, that's what buyers are doing when they're going out looking at homes and they have no idea what their home's going to sell for, what their equity position is.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And more importantly, what they're going to walk away with at closing.
Yeah.
Unless you got a lot of money and you got cash and you can pay cash for anything you want.
Right. And if that's the situation, no worries. But I would just say be informed. Don't rely on Zillow or something that you've looked at that might not be current. You really want an up-to-date, real-time opinion of value for your home. And also you want to be aware of, was there any deferred maintenance, or maybe is your roof really old, or are you going to run into issues because of some of the things in your home that you haven't done that could be significant in terms of the money. So
no, we see
that's what we're here for.
We see listings all the time with a 19 or 20-year-old roof,
Yeah.
and you're never going to be able to get insurance with that, right? And these people have their house listed with a 20-year-old roof, which is only becoming a big issue once after they go under contract.
Yeah.
And the buyer's going to renegotiate. So having a clear-cut path on what needs to be done to maximize the sales price, what is the maximum sales price, and how much will your check be at closing, empowers buyers.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to buy a house without having
that is a conversation to have. So for any of our friends out there that might be thinking, oh gosh, this is a good time to downsize or to sell, and it very well might be, because there are so many great opportunities on the buy side right now. So even when people are finding, oh gosh, maybe my home's not worth exactly what I thought or hoped it was, but on the buy side, there's so many great opportunities. So this is a good conversation. It's just one where people want to be informed. And I'd love to be a part of that conversation, either ourselves or some other great agents, but you really want to get a professional opinion before you make any big decisions.
So everybody watching, I had a couple conversations in the last week with potential sellers, letting them know that the number that they need to be able to move is not obtainable. We're at about 99.5% accuracy on the value of a home and what the check will be at closing. And I've told 2 potential sellers in the last week, you know what, I wouldn't go on the market if I were you, because I don't believe you're going to be able to achieve the goal that you have to have. And those people are so satisfied that we've told them the truth, because what people want is the truth. I had that conversation today.
Yeah.
He said, no, John, thank you, because I want the truth so I can make the best financial decision for myself and my family. Thank you so much, because we've done our job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We did our job because people hire us because they trust us. They know that we're very honest and we're very ethical. And once we give people the truth, then they can make the best decision for them and their families.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we look forward to helping as many people as we can. So please reach out to us if we can ever be of assistance to you. If you have any questions that you want us to address, email me at john@tampahomegroup.com, and I look forward to you watching our video next month.